Hey, time for science again. Today we're looking at a standard about how when things in the environment change, then the things living in that environment can be affected. They can die even. And so I want to name a couple places around Morristown I bet you've heard of. Have you ever heard of Panther Creek State Park? I bet you have. I bet you've been there. Panther Creek State Park. Why do you think it was named Panther Creek? Because at one time there were panthers there. At one time there were large cats roaming in this area. As a matter of fact, I think it's over at Forbidden Caverns in Dandridge, between Dandridge and Sevierville, down in the cave that you can go exploring in. They found in one hole of the cave that a saber-toothed tiger had fallen and gotten stuck. And they found a saber-toothed tiger skull from a long time ago, obviously, in a cave around East Tennessee. Isn't that weird? Well, how about this one? How about Buffalo Trail? Ever been to Buffalo Trail in Morristown? Yeah, that's a trail that buffaloes used to walk on. But there's no more panthers and there's no more buffaloes here, are there? What happened? Well, the environment changed. Sometimes the environment changed. Sometimes people changed the environment as they moved in and took over the land and maybe killed all the buffaloes, hunted all the buffaloes for food, or killed the panthers, the wild cats that lived in the area to make sure they were safe and their kids were safe. So the environment changes constantly. When new houses are built, that's a change in the environment. It takes away an animal's habitat. And so animals have to adapt and they have to be able to survive and reproduce and make baby animals. And so you saw in the video that you just watched that animals have to be able to adapt to their changing environment. And that's what today's lesson is going to be about. We're looking specifically today at a text. We're going to finish off the week with another ReadWorks text today. And this one's called Creepy Cave Crawlers. California's newly discovered cave creatures hold clues to monitoring changes in the environment. Let's talk about reading for a minute. What's this called? Starting the words with the same letters. Do you remember that's figurative language? It's alliteration, right? Creepy cave crawlers, California cave creatures, all this alliteration in this title. All right, so let's find out what's happening to these cave creatures and how they're monitoring changes in the environment with these cave creatures. I'm going to shrink myself down a bit. Inside the dark, damp underground caves of two national parks in Central California, scientists made an amazing discovery. They found 27 previously unknown species of spiders, centipedes, millipedes, and scorpion-like creatures. The scientists explored 34 of 238 known caves in Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks over 3 years and recently released their findings. The cave dwellers are all invertebrates, means they don't have a backbone, or animals without backbones. There's context clues, right? The discoveries included a tiny pill bug that's translucent or almost clear. Its internal organs are visible, even its bright yellow liver. Wow. There was also a daddy long legs with a jaw larger than its body. Well, that sounds scary. As well as a little bright orange spider. Some creatures were so tiny that scientists had to use the fine hairs of a paintbrush to collect them. We thought we might find a handful of new species, says Joel Despain, a cave expert for the parks. It was amazing to find 27 cool cave mysteries. Why had the cave creatures gone undetected? Though it's rare to find unknown animal species on Earth's surface, the same is not true for caves. Like the deep sea, caves are difficult to reach and haven't been explored as thoroughly as the Earth's surface. Discovering so many unknown species was thrilling for Gene Caretja. How come everybody has hard names in this text? Gene Caretja. He is a scientist with Zara Environmental, the Texas-based group that led the project. You get the feeling that you're Lewis and Clark, charting undiscovered territory, says Caretja. Caves are one of the last frontiers. Adapting to cave life. The creatures are unique, not only because they're just found in caves, but also because some are found in only a single cave or a specific part of a cave. There are usually more creatures at the cave's entrance because there's more food there, scientist Rob Myers of Zara Environmental told Weekly Reader. The farther back in a cave, the more you find creatures have adapted to cave life. What you find is more and more strange. The creatures are often blind and have no pigment. Pigment is a substance that gives color. A creature such as the pill bug, for example, doesn't need pigment in its skin because it doesn't have to protect itself from the sun. And the daddy longlegs probably develop big jaws to quickly grab prey, which is scarce inside the caves. I forget which one of you, but one of you told me you went to the Lost Sea over spring break. And we talked about how the fish that swim in that underground lake there, they're blind because it's totally dark in there. They couldn't see anything if they had eyes that saw. It would be totally dark in there. The only light in there is man-made. When we walk out into the cave, they turn the lights on. Interesting. They're also very white fish. I guess they don't have pigment in their skin either because there's no sun. Classifying the creatures. The next task is to name the new species. Specialists called taxonomists are working to classify and name the creatures. Excuse me. Scientists will also study the new species to determine whether their populations are healthy. Cave animals can teach scientists a lot about the environment because the creatures are sensitive to changes in the ecosystem. An ecosystem is a community of plants and animals that interacts with the environment. If cave creatures decline, it could signal problems or changes in the environment. The recent discoveries have led park officials to plan to protect the caves and the newly found species. Now that we know the species are there, we can use them to learn more about cave ecosystems and life on this planet, says Myers. Exploring the caves. What do you call someone who explores and studies caves? A spelunker. Caves are absolutely dark, Rob Myers of Zara Environmental told Weekly Reader. They are darker than your bedroom gets at night. There is zero light in a cave, so you can't see a hand in front of your face. When a spelunker heads into a cave, he or she wears a helmet with a headlamp and carries an extra flashlight. The cave explorer also wears elbow pads and knee pads to crawl along the rocky floor. Many caves are underground, so the explorer slides down on ropes connected to special harnesses. While there, a spelunker might see the magnificent cone-shaped formations of stalagmites and stalactites. They form when water with calcium drips and the mineral hardens and builds up over time. Stalagmites rise from the ground. Stalactites resemble icicles and hang from a cave's ceiling. When they meet, they form a column. What is an easy way to remember the difference between the words? Stalactite has a C for ceiling, and stalagmite has a G for ground. That's interesting. I never thought about it that way. All right, well, you've got 5 multiple choice questions from the answers from your text. Remember, move your circle. I can't do it in present mode. Every day I did that. Move your circle to the right answer, whatever you think it is. There are only 5 of them. It's Friday. You get your work done, and we're ready for another relaxing weekend or fun weekend, whatever you have planned. All right, remember, as the environment changes, the animals in it, the plants in it, are affected by the environmental changes. All right, answer these questions as you think about that. Have a great weekend.